Okay, so let us just look at examples and we see how we can record things in the suspense account and how we can record things in the journal. So as we said in the last video, that in the suspense account we only record transactions that only affected our trial balance, right? If our trial balance did not balance, we have to involve the suspense account. Okay, so for example, let's say example 1, our purchases was overcast by 217 kwacha. Okay, now this word called the overcast means the purchases is too much. We have to reduce on the purchases. So if we have to reduce on the purchases, in account we don't have to cancel out the 217 in the purchases account, but what we do is, since these purchases, normally purchases is debited, right? Purchases is debited, and you have another account here that you credited. Now since we are saying that purchases was too much by 217, we have to reduce it. But how are we going to reduce it? We are going to credit purchases with that amount, which is 217. So we should reduce on the purchases. And now which other account must we debit? Since we don't know the account that was credited at first place before we had this error to say our purchases was overcast by 217. So what we do, we introduce a suspense account because we don't know another account that was affected. So we introduce a suspense account as debit, then 217 kwacha. Then by doing this, it would mean that you have corrected an error, which means now your purchase account is on point because you've removed the 217 that was too much in the purchase account. Then let us look at another example where we do not need any suspense account. Let's say goods purchased on credit from TB worth, let's say 1,000, they've been credited to TC's account. Okay, they've been credited to the other person's account. If we look at the last video, we said such an error does not affect the trial balance because it is an error of commission. It only affects the personal accounts, but it doesn't affect the trial balance. The trial balance will still balance. The reason is very simple. We purchased things on credit from TB, and this amount was credited to TC. You would look at TB and TC as both being creditors. So these are both creditors, so they'll go to the credit side of the trial balance. So this 1,000 won't affect us. But the thing that we were just going to do for us to correct this error, what we're going to do to correct this error that we had made at first is we are just going to write, since the purchases was just recorded nicely, so we just concentrate on the things that were done wrong for us to correct the error. So now TB was the owner of the transaction, but we recorded on the on TC's account. What we have to do is that since we had credited TC's account, this time we're going to record TC's in the TC's account. We're going to debit so that 1,000 should go out of TC's account. Then we're going to credit TB's account with the 1,000 so that our account balances. Okay, so in the journal now, what is going to happen in the journal is that, let's just open the journal account. We said in the journal we record all the transactions, both that occurred under suspense and those that did not occur under suspense account. So we're just going to do a journal here. So we have the credit and we have the debit, and there's the details there. Okay, so remember our first transaction, our purchase was overcast by 217. So the first thing that you have to write here is that you have to write the account that was debited first. So you have to write suspense here and debit 217, and you have to indent and write purchases here, so that you should show that this account was credited. Purchases with 217. This is a journal account, and close that account. Then the other thing that we have to do is we have to look at the other account where we had TB. So TB 1000, it was debited, and TC 1000. Then you have recorded this transaction in your journal. After recording it in your journal, now you have to record transactions in your suspense account. Now, one thing you must know also is that the suspense account must balance. Okay, but we shall do that later, where the suspense account must balance. So let's just prepare a suspense account quickly and look at how we must record our transactions in the suspense account. So we have folio there, we have details, and we have date. Then this is the suspense account. So in the suspense account, we only record things that affected our suspense, or things that affected our trial balance. So in the details here, we have purchases. And remember that the suspense was debited, so we are going to debit suspense with 217. So you have recorded your transactions in your suspense account, and you have recorded transactions in your journal account. By doing so, then you are done all the obligations that you are taught to do, and you fulfilled them. So in the next video, I shall talk more about the suspense account, where we're able to solve questions and look at what scenarios were taking place. You must also note that in a suspense account, in one transaction, there might be so many errors affecting the suspense account, and sometimes in one transaction you might also find out that there are errors that can affect the suspense account and errors that do not affect the suspense account in one transaction. So we are going to do this more in detail next time when we have another video. So I hope this video will help you understand what the suspense is all about.